Episode 49, Funny Personalities Observations.
Hey folks, it's great to be here tonight. Let's talk about personality types, shall we? We all know that one person who's always optimistic, or that other person who's always grumpy. Some people are introverted, while others are extroverted. And let's not forget about the overthinkers, the overdoers, and the underachievers. But no matter what personality type you fall into, we can all agree that there are some funny aspects to each one of them. For example, have you ever met an overly competitive person? They turn everything into a competition, even if it's just a friendly game of checkers. They'll get so intense and serious, it's like they're playing for the World Cup or something. And if they lose, watch out, because they'll be sulking for days. Then there's the procrastinator. You know who I'm talking about, right? They always leave everything until the last minute, even if it's something important like paying rent or doing taxes. They'll wait until the absolute deadline, and then they'll be scrambling to get everything done. And of course, they always claim that they work best under pressure. Yeah, right. And what about the overthinker? They're the ones who analyze every little detail of every situation, and then end up not doing anything because they're too afraid of making a mistake. They'll spend hours debating whether or not to send that text message or email, and by the time they finally do, it's too late. And don't even get me started on their shopping habits. They'll spend hours in a store trying to decide which color of shirt to buy, only to leave empty-handed because they couldn't make a decision. Lastly, there's the extrovert. They're the life of the party, the ones who can strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere. They'll talk your ear off about their latest adventure or the newest restaurant they tried, and they always have a new friend to introduce you to. But sometimes, they can be a little too much. You'll be trying to have a quiet night in, and they'll show up unannounced, ready to party. And if you're not in the mood, good luck getting rid of them. So there you have it, folks. A quick rundown of some of the funniest aspects of different personality types. And if you're wondering what personality type I am, well, let's just say I'm a little bit of all of them. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. First up, we've got the introverts. Now, introverts get a bad rap sometimes. People think they're just shy and awkward, but that's not always the case. Sometimes introverts are just really selective about who they want to spend their energy on. They're like the smartphones of the social world. You've got to make sure you're on their approved list before they start investing their battery life into you. Then we have the extroverts. Oh boy, where do I even begin with these people? They're like human tornadoes, just barreling through life with their boundless energy and enthusiasm. But you know what's funny about extroverts? They have no internal monologue. Seriously, ask an extrovert what they're thinking about right now, and they'll probably just start talking about the weather or something. It's like their brains are always on speakerphone. Now, let's talk about the Type A personalities. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones who color code their planner and have a to-do list for their to-do list. These people are efficient to a fault, but sometimes their perfectionism can be a little intense. I once knew a Type A person who spent 6 hours alphabetizing their bookshelf. They didn't even have that many books. And then there's the laid-back, go-with-the-flow types. These people are the chillest of the chill. They're like a cool breeze on a hot summer day. But you know what's funny about them? They have no sense of urgency. Like, at all. You'll be trying to make plans with them and they'll just be like, hey, let's see how I feel that day. It's like, dude, the event is tomorrow. We need to make a decision. And last but not least, we have the analytical types. These are the people who love to dissect every little detail and overthink everything. They're like human calculators, always trying to solve the equation of life. But you know what's funny about them? They can't turn it off. I once knew an analytical type who spent 3 hours trying to figure out the best way to fold a fitted sheet. And when they finally did figure it out, they had to call a press conference to announce their findings. So there you have it, folks. The wonderful world of personality types.
Whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, a Type A laid-back type, or an analytical type, just remember to embrace your quirks and be true to yourself.
And if all else fails, just blame it on your personality type. It's a foolproof excuse. Thank you, good night. Have you ever noticed how every person has their own unique personality? Some people are outgoing and talkative, while others are quiet and introspective. Some are always punctual, while others are perpetually running late. But no matter what type of personality someone has, there's always something funny about them. Take the extroverted types, for example. These are the people who can strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere, at any time. They're the life of the party, and they love to be the center of attention. But have you ever noticed how they tend to dominate every conversation? It's like they're allergic to silence or something. They'll keep talking and talking until everyone else is too exhausted to say anything. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the introverted types. These are the people who are perfectly content to sit quietly in the corner and observe the world around them. They don't need constant stimulation or attention like the extroverts do. But sometimes, they can be a little too quiet. Like, have you ever had a conversation with an introvert where you feel like you're carrying the entire weight of the interaction on your shoulders? It's like pulling teeth. Then there are the analytical types. These are the people who are always trying to figure out the logic behind everything. They love to dissect problems and find solutions. But sometimes, they can be a little too focused on the details. Like, have you ever tried to have a casual conversation with an analytical type, and they end up turning it into a deep philosophical debate? It's like, dude, can we just talk about the weather for a minute? Of course, we can't forget about the spontaneous types. These are the people who live for the moment and love to take risks. They're always up for an adventure, no matter how crazy it might seem. But sometimes, their spontaneity can get them into trouble. Like, have you ever been out with a spontaneous type, and they suddenly decide to climb a tree or jump into a lake fully clothed? It's like, dude, we're in the middle of a city. Where are you going to find a towel? And last but not least, we have the perfectionists. These are the people who want everything to be just right. They have high standards for themselves and everyone around them. But sometimes, their quest for perfection can drive them, and everyone else, a little crazy. Like, have you ever been in a group project with a perfectionist, and they keep nitpicking every little detail until you just want to scream? It's like, can we please just turn in the project already? In conclusion, no matter what type of personality someone has, there's always something funny about them. Whether it's their quirks, their habits, or just the way they see the world, there's always something to laugh about. So next time you meet someone new, take a moment to appreciate their unique personality, and maybe even find something to joke about.
And that wraps up another laughter-filled episode of Not So Funny A. If you enjoyed the jokes generated by our AI algorithms, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our comedy-loving community.